Hey, Chris Stryer here, CEO of Rankings.io. You're about to hear a replay from one of our live webinars. At Rankings, we go deep on the strategies to help PI firms dominate the most competitive markets. AI is changing how potential clients find you. More and more, it's pulling from reviews, profiles, and reputation signals to decide who shows up and who gets skipped. Today, learn how to protect and power up your reputation in the age of AI. Let's get into it.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Rankings Live virtual event, where we'll be discussing how you can use local AI search to advance your lead generation efforts for your law firm. I'm Ken Maffley, the VP of Marketing here at Rankings, and I'll be your host for today. I'd like to introduce to you our speakers. First up, we have Shawn Denney. Shawn is the Vice President of Digital here at Rankings, where he leads the agency's evolution into a generative engine optimization powerhouse beyond just traditional SEO. With over 15 years of marketing experience spanning traditional, digital, and data-driven strategies, he oversees fulfillment across SEO, paid media, content marketing, and technology. Shawn's expertise includes cross-channel strategy, advanced analytics, reporting, and innovation, helping law firms maximize visibility and growth in competitive markets. Welcome, Shawn. Next, we have John Pennino. John is the local SEO manager at Rankings, where he optimizes client websites and Google business profiles. At Rankings, John leads Google business profile optimization strategies for high-impact local rankings, implements advanced local SEO campaigns that generate measurable business growth, and monitors and adapts platform changes, algorithm updates, and review management trends. He is your go-to resource for local SEO strategy. John is passionate about transforming complex SEO challenges into clear, actionable solutions, ensuring clients not only rank higher, but win more cases. Welcome, John. AI is now being integrated into everything, including local search. Google, for example, has rolled out AI-powered features like AI overviews that summarize local business information. This means that even if users aren't explicitly using AI tools, their search experience is being shaped by AI behind the scenes. Consumers are also starting to use conversational AI for business recommendations. There is a growing trend of people using AI chatbots to ask for local business recommendations, including lawyers. In fact, a recent poll by UTech shows that 27% of Americans they polled have used AI assistants to find local businesses in the past week. Because AI heavily relies on online data to form its recommendations, maintaining an excellent reputation online ensures that it highlights your business in a positive light. If your reputation is less than stellar, however, AI-powered tools may bypass your business in favor of competitors who have optimized their online presence. So, how do you make sure that your reputation is solid and that you're showing up in those critical searches when your clients need you most? To answer that, I will pass it to Shawn and John. So Shawn, the mic is yours.
Thank you. Yep, like the first one says here, Yelp. Yelp is, in my opinion, it's not something that I use on a personal day-to-day basis, and I know a lot of people don't look at it. But these AI platforms, these large language models, do turn to Yelp as a meaningful source for user-generated content, for reviews, and for your reputation. So it's really important that you have your brand on Yelp and that you're getting reviews for it. But there's a couple things to remember about Yelp in particular. Number one, Yelp, it can be difficult for reviews to stick. And if you're unfamiliar with Yelp, what that means is once a review has been placed on Yelp for a brand, it goes through a review process where it will either be live and present, or it will be hidden and tucked away and not part of your aggregate score and much more difficult to find. There are a couple things that cause these Yelp reviews to be hidden or to show up. One of them is how many different reviews someone has left. If someone just created an account and you are the first review that they're leaving, that review is unlikely to stick and it's more likely to be hidden. Number two, the volume of reviews that come in a short burst or frequency. For example, if you had no reviews and then you get 25 reviews over the course of a week, a lot of that's going to appear suspect to Yelp, and it's going to make it where more of those are going to be hidden again. And the last one, and this is a frustrating tip to share, but it is what it is. If you are engaged in Yelp's business upgrade program, which is roughly about $6 a day, your reviews are more likely to be shown. I know Yelp's documentation is going to say, no, that's not true. We don't actually play that pay to show and to pay to win type model. We've seen it where when you're paying, more of your reviews are actually going to show up and be present.
All right, next we will look at Facebook. Now, Facebook as an aggregator, the way you want to look at this is the reviews that are left on Facebook now, it's not generally like a specific star rating, but someone can basically just give like a yes or no whether they had a positive experience with your profile. Now, where this does get pulled in, where it has relatively good visibility is Bing Places, okay? Along with Yelp reviews as well. They can both get pulled into Bing Places. Now, the benefit here on Facebook is not everybody has a Yelp account to leave Yelp reviews, right? But most of your clients probably do have a Facebook profile, right? So the likelihood of getting them to leave a review if you ask is fairly high. Now, one of the other big things that's going on with Facebook right now, as of July 10th, they are allowing basically, professional businesses, your pages are able to be indexed and shown in search. So this is a huge boost to the overall visibility. Like they're basically Meta went and did this because they kind of want to keep pace with the overall visibility for their product versus the TikToks and the Reddits of the world and stuff like that. So now this content that gets posted, so including your review content and then any post content that you might have, that can be indexed pages, and that further can boost AI's ability to kind of be used in citation. So it's definitely something that is going to be growing over time, but Facebook is something you definitely don't want to ignore. And to reiterate, the fact that most of your client base is going to have Facebook, it should be fairly simple to also ask for a review, and the likelihood of getting them to leave one would be very, very good. Now, what also goes hand in hand with this is when they do post a review on Facebook, a lot of time they will put that as public themselves, and that posts to their profile, right? So now you're getting basically like almost a free ad, like a free advertising ad. Someone's giving you a recommendation, it posts to their feed. Now all of the people in their feed see that they did business with you. It could spark, some kind of back and forth, which is also good because now that type of content might get indexed as well. And then kind of as a bonus caveat with this is you want to kind of reinforce this on your own profile on Facebook now that you have the ability to index your pages. So you could even almost do like a thank you to the people that did leave your reviews, and do like a screenshot of the reviews and, oh, by the way, thank you, and try to get people to kind of chat on it and thumbs it up, because that'll just elevate the ability of that post to be indexed and search rank in the search.
And one chime in on this is it's something to remember. It's not about how many people are constantly using Facebook all day long. Like this isn't about how many people are actively engaged with Facebook as their social platform of choice. Instead, what we're using this for when we're recommending getting these reviews is there are some people that do use it as their platform of choice, but the AI models, these LLMs, are using it as a core aspect. And also, outside of AI, but just in general for your firm, a lot of people will look to social proof for validation about your brand, what's going on with it. So when someone goes online and they want to see reviews on multiple different platforms, when it's on Facebook, that's an easy one they understand to still look at and review and see what other people are saying about your firm. Number 3, ongoing review campaigns. I mentioned earlier some of the challenge where if you get no reviews, for example, on Yelp, and then you get 25 over the course of the week, that can be confusing to the platform and can raise some flags. That happens not just on Yelp. That's actually across a lot of these platforms, where if you do review sprints and you go from getting no reviews to getting a ton of reviews and then back to none, that is not as helpful for the AI, the LLMs, or the platforms themselves as if you have an ongoing plan to get reviews. And it's a lot easier to do this if you think about it from, how do I make this part of my client experience? How do I make this as part of that wrap-up experience for my clients to ask for these reviews? That can be an email, that can be in person, a phone call, however you want to do it. If you're doing something like an email, you can actually send links that lead directly to where to leave a review for you to make it easier for your clients. But having a plan in place to get reviews across multiple different platforms in an ongoing basis is essential in today's marketplace and for AIs to understand you. And on this next slide, we've broken down some of the key ones to make sure you are getting reviews for. We have them in different tiers, so you can see what's the most important to some of the lesser important ones. Google Business Profile, that's your S tier. That's the most important one that you can get reviews for. But you shouldn't just get reviews on Google. You need it across multiple. We've already talked about Yelp. Coming down, AVVO, Justia, Martindale, all of these are important, and they can also work as John said earlier, aggregators or feeders to other platforms that pull the reviews from them and help spread your online reputation. John, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, definitely what we see, especially in like AI overviews and ChatGPT, is AVVO, Justia, and Martindale definitely being that really solid tier right in the middle at B there that you don't want to neglect. And if you can populate some reviews there, because so many of your competitors are going to have like next to nothing in terms of reviews on these platforms. Martindale specifically is great because that's a peer review, so other lawyers reviewing you there, and that one is heavily weighted in the LLM, specifically ChatGPT, but even AI overviews again. But oftentimes, we'll see AVVO and Justia as links that are shown in like the AI overviews when, people are trying to search for do research on lawyers near them. So, definitely 100% not to be ignored. You want to look at these other sites and make sure that you have a presence on all of them. Which brings us into our next tip, which is review management platforms, because this could get a little crazy, right? You have all these different platforms that have, you get reviews on them. Who has the time to actually manage this and like go to these different platforms and respond to it or anything like that? So review management platforms are a great way for you to basically consolidate your feed of reviews so that you're like basically daily getting notifications to show you, okay, I got new reviews on Google. I got new reviews on Yelp. I got new reviews on Facebook. I have new reviews on these other websites coming in. And then it gives you a central place where you can respond to them as well. So it makes managing your review process totally streamlined, and you're going to have just like a much better chance at answering them quickly, which is always a positive factor for all these search mechanisms, showing that you're kind of responding to the reviews and so forth. Now, also what Shawn was saying on specifically with the campaigns, a review management platform also allows you to do these review campaigns where you're requesting from reviews for specific sites. So if you want to do a Google specific campaign, you have your client list that you can use to basically push out your review requests for Google. But then at the same time, like you can get the data from that. So say Google was the one you were going to do first, because that's the most important. You get the data and you get how many people actually responded and left reviews. And then you could, as a follow-up, maybe a few months later, like send out a request to those people that had already left you a review and be like, hey, you left us a review on Google. Would you mind leaving us a review on Yelp or Facebook? And then you can build the reviews up on those sites. That way you're not spamming like all of your client base over and over, but like making sure like that the people that are receptive to these review campaigns like are the ones that are kind of like getting more attention in terms of these requests. So and they'll be more likely to have success. And again, like you don't want to kind of just dump all of the review requests at once, as Shawn said, but you can schedule it out. So you have like, an email list or, a text-based list that you implement to these platforms. And you could say, okay, over the next 3-week period, I want, to send out 100 requests, but space it out over those 3 weeks. And that way you're getting a nice drip feed of requests, and that should be a semblance of a more consistent review basis coming in. And that's what we want to see. That's a definitely a driving factor for your local visibility.
A couple options. These are not the only ones, but just to give you an idea, something like Birdeye or Trustpilot are some of these review management platforms that we're referring to. Humanized brand content. So something that can be very important and valuable is to make it seem like you are a person. These AI platforms, these LLMs, and even users like it when they can interact with someone. You still want to live up to your brand values. You still want to give something meaningful, and you want to be a good business when responding, unlike our example over here, where that was not a good response that the owner had given. But it is important that you are responding in a way that makes it seem like you're a person, you're showing empathy, you're showing gratitude, you're showing some sort of feeling to let the person who left you a review know whether it was positive and reinforcement or negative, and that you're willing to address it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with Shawn 100% there. A lot of times, we will kind of just look when we're getting reviews from clients that maybe first kind of came on. And, if you didn't have this in place and you had like a back and forth, like tit for tat in like where the review was left, it just looks bad, right? So it's definitely a negative, and this is something you really have to be mindful of, and it goes a long way. And I know I said this, I think in our last webinar, but when I'm going to choose to do business with someone, I'll look at the negative reviews specifically first, because I want to see how they react, and what others might have had an issue with with that company. So again, handling your negative reviews and with an authentic reply is the best thing you could do. All right. And here we have standardizing branding across all of search. Now, this is really, really important for LLMs. And again, I think we did kind of hit on this point in our last webinar as well. But for your brand, you have to have this consistent everywhere. All right. And the point we brought up last time, and I'll bring up again, is you have a situation where you have your law firm, and then you decide to do a DBA where you add like a keyword such as like personal injury or something like that. And you do this on your Google business profile. Now, you have to also update this across all of your other profiles. All right. So you have to do your Yelp, I would do this on LinkedIn. I would do this on Facebook. I would do this everywhere, and on your website too. So many times they don't update the website. You still have your original branding on your website, and you just think you never have to change any of that. But, LLMs, they need to see that this like one entity is one and the same, so that they can give you the full equity of like your brand sentiment, right? So that's why it's 100% important to make sure that this is updated. Like, we're doing local audits all the time for our kind of onboardings and stuff. And there's so many listings that are totally inconsistent across the board with different information and stuff like that, from the name to the website, even it might be an old out of date website, the hours of operation, all of this stuff. Really needs to be like followed. And, that's why like generally we use things like citation platforms that kind of push out the information that can update these in specific areas. But, when needed, like, you do have to sometimes manually go in and update these things if it's a more obscure site that might not get pushed from a citation platform.
And to give a specific example of what this might look like. So let's say White Duck Taco Shop, which we have up on the screen here, and they said, oh, we wanted to change it, and it was White Duck Taco Shop - open late and that was part of what they wanted to do on their Google business profile. But over on Yelp, they just left it as White Duck Taco Shop. What the AI models and these LLMs are going to do is they're going to see there's one called White Duck Taco Shop and one called White Duck Taco Shop open late, and they're not going to have the full context to understand it's the same business. So when someone starts looking for it, it's going to have confusion about whether it should show White Duck Taco Shop or White Duck Taco Shop open late, because it thinks they are two separate entities that are competing with each other rather than the same brand or the same company that is moving forward. And number 7, it is very valuable to have narratives inside of your reviews. Now, I'm not saying you have to have these big, long, extravagant reviews that go through beginning, middle, end, whole complete story arcs, but the more that you can make it beyond just 5-star, did good service, that's not giving a lot of context around it. And when you can have things like, here's service, here's location, here's why I use them, here's something, here's my pain point, and here's how they resolve it. When you can get more of a story in that review, not only is it more useful to the AIs and LLMs, it's also more useful to users when they look at that review, because they're going to have more context around it and they're going to feel more valued and feel more trusting based off what they're reading. And going back to AI models here, when that narrative is encouraged, so someone's talking about, I got into a car accident and this law firm helped me. AI is going to take that as car accident as an entity, law firm entity, and it's going to strengthen your relationship for when someone asks for who is a good lawyer for when I'm in a car accident. That's going to help enhance that, and it's going to be able to pull more information from your reviews and your online reputation because of that link from what your reviews have said for you. John, anything you wanted to add?
Yeah. On top of that, you could say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So asking clients to also leave a picture image on their review goes a long way for, one, just like helping other people to see that it's an authentic review and that wasn't left by like AI or something like that. They see that this is a real person, like maybe they post like a picture next to, like if it was a car accident, like they show part of their car that they got into an accident or something like that. Like this type of images like just help to reinforce the story, and AI sees all of this, and it will just kind of just be more beneficial for your overall visibility for those specific keywords that you really want to rank for.
Thank you, Shawn and John. We have had a few questions come on in, so I will quickly get to those. The first one said, what if we have one poor Yelp review dragging us down? The reviewer mistook us for a completely different company. Yelp has also hidden our positive reviews. Will AI see this and rank us poorly despite our positive reviews on other platforms?
For the people that did leave you positive reviews, if they can check in on Yelp with your business at that location, that can help them show up. Another one is, if someone mistook your brand, you can talk to Yelp. This is not a guarantee that they're actually going to take it down, but you can talk to Yelp about, here's my proof and validation that this is not actually about me and it's a completely different business. That's possible they will take that bad review down. To your question of, will they see the bad review and not the good reviews? In this case, yes, because the good reviews are hidden and the bad review is present, that will hinder your reputation in these AI platforms and on these LLMs.
Yeah, and that just brings to the point of like why you want to be requesting reviews to these other platforms, right? And where I was kind of getting from the review specific campaign platforms, again, like when you have people that have already left you Google Business Profile reviews, then down the line doing a specific campaign for those people, be like, oh, would you mind leaving us the review on Yelp? That way, you're going to be getting positive reviews added. And, then it's just, whether or not you jump over that hurdle where Yelp actually decides to publish it and make it visible or not. But if you have several coming in, obviously, it's going to kind of do that. And then you can obviously, again, in that campaign, ask people like, okay, please check in with us on Yelp and leave a review. So that'll be visible as just part of the instructions or something like that in the campaign request, and it should be easy.
Okay. Well, oddly enough, the next question is still about Yelp. And the question is, regarding Yelp, do they actually remove reviews that are flagged for review? And John, maybe we'll start with you if you don't mind.
Yeah, you definitely have the ability to flag with Yelp. Again, even flagging with Google Business Profiles is jumping hurdles. It's not really easy. Generally, they want to have user sentiment left on these profiles because they believe it's authenticity. So getting reviews removed can be difficult. But if someone left a specific review that obviously has totally incorrect information or doesn't pertain to your business, you can definitely flag those and have a decent shot at removing them.
Okay. Shawn, anything to add there?
Nope. Just like John said, is you can put forth the effort, and unless it's obvious and you can prove it's not about you, it's probably going to stay up there. Now you can try to get rid of them, but these platforms like the authenticity of it even if it's frustrating from the business's point of view.
Yeah, and this next question here is, if you have bad reviews, are there anything that you can do out across the web to help mitigate or help balance that? And Shawn, maybe we'll start with you on that one.
From an SEO standpoint, your online reputation is important wherever someone's looking at it. So making sure you're getting consistent reviews across different platforms, that you're responding to negative reviews and trying to address them and showing that you're a human being. So if someone had a problem with your service, hey, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about this more. We want you to have a good experience. However you want to phrase it, that's authentic to your brand voice. But making sure that it can be seen and heard, that you're not just like, you are a terrible customer, I don't care about you, you suck. Because that's obviously not going to land well for anybody. In terms of doing other things off-site, on your website, for example, or having a guest contributed article published about your brand. Those things can help, but from the reputation standpoint, it's more about the reviews, what they say, and how you're responding to them that are going to have the biggest impact.
I would probably definitely look at embedding some of your reviews from multiple different platforms. So like your Facebook reviews are fairly easy to get the embed code from and put those on your website. So you can, that way when you're on your kind of core landing pages for even like your Google business profile or like particular service pages, you have like embedded reviews about that particular service specifically that you are putting on that has like related keywords. And that will kind of go a long way with, boosting your overall visibility on the LLMs and even organically.
Yeah, and the good news is good SEO is being a good human out across the web. So exactly what you both were saying. Responding, making sure that you show that you're a responsible business owner and human being. That is good SEO. If I already have a lot of reviews on one platform, should I start spreading them out? Should I start exploring other platforms?
One of the major ranking factors is the recency of the reviews as well. So even though you have, say, like 2,000 reviews on your Google business profile, if you suddenly just stopped getting reviews on that Google business profile, you're going to suddenly fall out of the map pack if your competitors are maintaining a review rate of, say, like an average of one a day or something like that, which is totally in the realm. Like we have a lot of clients that have reviews that come in at that rate. When we're doing competitive analysis, we see competitors that have reviews coming in at that rate. So it's very cutthroat in terms of for Google visibility, maintaining that rate of reviews. But also then this kind of whole webinar is about AI visibility specifically. So again, you have to look beyond Google. So yes, you also can't ignore these other ones, but it's not a question of that. Like I have enough on Google, Google's done. Google always is there, and you always have to keep it consistent. But it is the follow up on the Yelp, the Facebook, and the AVVOs of the world, and Just Eats and so forth. That you also want to get at least some kind of mentions going to gain your overall visibility.
Yep, I was going to say it's not one or the other. It's you need all of them, and on an ongoing basis. And that's where that ongoing review plan that we talked about a little bit earlier really comes into play, to make sure you have a plan for yourself, for your team members, for your staff, on who you're asking for what review platform at what cadence.
And I may be reading into this next question a little bit. I'm kind of reading it as a frazzled small law firm business owner, a law firm owner, our partner saying, should I respond to every review, even the short 5 stars, thanks? Is there a good rule for responding to reviews?
You should be responding to all of them. And while that may seem a little redundant, even if someone just only said 5 stars, thanks, responding shows you're caring, that you're paying attention to it, and that you are attentive, all of which helps the AI, LLMs, and then just users when they make it there. It's also important to know you want to have some diversity in your responses to reviews. If every 5-star review just has thanks for the kind words or whatever you want to put out there, and it just says that over and over and over and over again, that's seen as disingenuous to the AIs and to humans. So you want to mix it up a little bit, and you want to respond to what they're saying. So if someone gave you that narrative-based review, incorporate some aspect of that into your response back to them to get the most out of it.
Yeah, and I'd follow that up with if here's where if you wanted to do your SEO, you do your SEO, right? So if you know who left the review and like you know at least what type of case it might have been, and like, hey, it was a pleasure servicing your car accident case. We're so glad that everything went well. Get those keywords in there. That's going to have the element. That's where it's specific, where you can have that diversification that Shawn is talking about across all the different review responses. And it's showing people that like, oh, wow, this is a person's responding specifically to about their case. This is so great. I think it's a no brainer.
Okay. Are there good techniques to make sure that the majority of my review requests are being responded to? They kind of get down to the little nitty gritty of like, which is the best way to send review links, email, text, both. Is there a best practice? Are there other best practices for helping the clients leave good reviews? Any thoughts there?
Yeah, sure. I mean, particularly with platforms such as like Birdeye, like you'll have the ability to do requests via email and via text. And in like the data that they kind of showed us when we were looking at them was generally that the texting does have a pretty good response rate when compared to the email. So again, like, I've got a whole bunch of email profiles, like an old AOL and stuff. It's got a bajillion emails. I've never opened those, right? But your text number, like people are on their phone all the time. So in terms of like a specific response rate, text today is probably overall more responsive, I would think, than email. You could like build review request page that has like links. Please leave this review on Google and Facebook and Yelp, and you link all three on the bottom or something like that. That's all part of your overall strategy that you would want to look at.
A general consensus around all of this is the easier you make it for someone to leave the review, the more likely they are to do it. If it feels like extra work, they have to have had an outstanding experience to want to leave you that review. And so the more that you can keep it with, hey, all you have to do is click this link. It'll take you less than 1 minute. Like, here's why this is not a big deal for you. And you can convey that to them, the more likely they are to actually do it. If you are, hey, I need you to click on this Yelp link. I need you to make a profile. I need you to leave a review for me. And then because this is brand new, I also need you to leave 2 more Yelp reviews on other businesses. Someone's not going to do that. Like, you are asking way too much and they're going to say no. So the more that you can keep it simple and easy for them, the more likely they're actually going to leave a review.
It's funny that you say that because, one of my favorite products of all time is Adobe Creative Cloud. And they routinely will kind of send me, surveys and whatnot. And after about the 12th question, I'm like, nope, done. I just can't do this with my life, So, even stellar companies sometimes get it wrong. And so to your point, Shawn, keep it simple. Great point. Okay. Well, I think we have sprinted through all the questions. I want to say a big thank you to Shawn and John for that presentation and the Q&A time. For those keeping track at home, this is the second time that they have been on a webinar with us. And this has actually been a little bit of an encore performance because we had so many questions last time from their last webinar and all the information that they brought. We had to do it again just to make sure we covered everything. So a huge thank you to you both. We are going to keep bringing you the freshest insights on how you can continue to be at the top of your marketing game. So please be on the lookout for next month's webinar in your email inbox. As always, finding the right marketing partner to supercharge your AI optimization efforts is essential. They can help you outline your goals, construct the right strategy, build the right content, and make sure you are hitting your intake goals. As always, Rankings is here to help you get the most out of your lead generation efforts. Our expertise and understanding of the legal market puts you, our clients, in a winning position. So contact us today to see how you can get the most out of your marketing campaigns. So please be on the lookout, not only for that on-demand webinar link, but next month's webinar as well. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining. Bye for now.
Take care.
Hope you got a ton of value out of that conversation. We run these webinars live every month, and the easiest way to get the next one straight to your inbox on the day it happens is head to rankings.io/webinars. I'll see you on the next one.